Hi, everybody. This is Tommy Lasorda. Listen to The Sandlot, the best thing that could happen to you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Are you crying?
It's a part of our past, Ray.
There's no crying.
It reminds us of all that once was good.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just a bit outside.
Baseball will be very, very good to me.
It's a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that.
The Sandlot Radio Network is on the air. And now, starting pitcher for the Sandlot, former pro player and Major League scout, Ted Howard.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
It's Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, protecting young athletes one arm at a time. The Sandlot is sponsored by Slide MVP, Champ Trove, Max Graphics LA, and Pro Slide. The Sandlot can be heard live right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on kvta.com. Replays of all Sandlot Radio shows, past and current, are published in all the major platforms, including SiriusXM, MLB Network Radio, Spotify, SoundCloud, Simplecast, Apple Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Also check out Sandlot Radio Show on Instagram and Sandlot Radio Network on Facebook for video content with the Major League players. Please explore the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website for historical reels and images along with links to our incredible partners. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sandlot Radio Network. We're kicking off our 13th season. And after more than 350 shows across 12 years, we're thrilled to be back. What a ride it's been. We just witnessed what might have been the greatest World Series ever, followed by a World Baseball Classic that displayed the best players from around the globe. Just 1 month into the season, winter is finally over, and there's just something about baseball that makes most American families feel like spring has truly arrived. The crack of the bat is back. The smell of freshly cut grass fills the air. The roar of the crowd is echoing through the ballparks all over the country. Summer is right around the corner, and now that means one thing. Baseball's back, and so is the Sandlot. Let's play ball. We're going to start you off with the first Who's Hot and Who's Not segment of the season with our Sandlot Radio Network resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright. Nick, it's good to be back. How about the first month of the season?
Cat, unbelievable to be back between the World Baseball Classic, which was insane. A little bit of a letdown for the U.S., but Venezuela deserved it. And then to this first month of the season, let's get into it.
And also the World Series, man. Most attended, most ever watched, probably most merchandise ever sold. What a big deal for MLB to have that type of a World Series go down to the seventh game and end the way it did.
Absolutely. And I mean, just heartbreak for Toronto. You just got to feel for them and the Blue Jays fans. But I mean, the Dodgers, just a powerhouse, and they're continuing into the season.
Well, look at this. American League East. First of all, the Yankees off to a really good start at 20-11, and they're 8-2 in their last 10. And your Rays 18-12, and they're only 1.5 games back, and they're 6-4 in their last 10. But they had some wins in a row and some losses in a row. And then the Orioles 15-16, 5-5. You know, it's kind of where you'd expect them. But the Blue Jays not playing that great, 14-16, but 7-3 in their last 10. While the Red Sox are 12-19, 4-6 in the last 10. They cleaned house. They fired not just the manager, but everybody underneath him and a few of the minor league guys that he probably hired too.
Boston is just going nuts. Their fans are just restless. They want change, and they got it.
And Nick, over in the American League Central, the Guardians are leading that league, but the Central right now, it's a 50-50 league. They're leading the league right now, that division, at 16-16, while the Tigers are 16-16. They're tied. And the White Sox are 14-16. 17, only a game and a half back, and the Twins are 13 and 18, and the Royals are 12 and 19. So there's nobody winning that division. White Sox are 7 and 3 in their last 10, and we'll find out why a little later. And then you go over to the American League West, and for the first month of the season, the best team in the American League West has been the Athletics. The good old Oakland Athletics are in Sacramento, going to go to Vegas, but I still call them the Oakland Athletics. 17 and 14, and the Mariners a game and a half back at 16 and 16. Rangers 15 and 16. Astros 12 and 20. And look at the Angels, 12 and 20. Not a good month. They haven't played a good month of baseball in quite some time, but at least they got the guy that scouts are saying, I'm out and about looking for the next Mike Trout. Nick, with all these teams through the first month of the season, it's a decent sample size. Let's talk about players that are hot and not.
All right, Tad, the Yankees, they are looking like the Yankees. They did just lose yesterday, but they are still 8-2 over the last 10 games. Tad, Cam Schlittler has been absolutely unbelievable this year so far. He has a 1.50 ERA. He's only let up one earned run in his last 3 starts. And also, Tad, of course, you have the great reigning MVP, Aaron Judge, who is tied for home runs with 12 right now. Tad, the Yankees just look great. And also, Tad, Max Fried is having another great season, only having a 2 ERA his last couple games, no earned runs. Yankees looking great per usual. And I'm going to go out to who's not hot. And you just mentioned the Angels, always terrible, not shocked. The Angels bullpen the last 16 games, 60 innings pitched, 7 ERA, 7 blown saves, and also giving up 7 home runs. Angels are 4-12 during that span. They are not.
Maybe the Angels should go to Vegas and start betting because they're 7-7-7 in that.
And Ted, I also want to go back to the Rays. They've had 2 6-game winning streaks this year so far. And a lot of that's because of pitcher Nick Martinez, who's having an unbelievable year, 1.70 ERA over his last 3 games, only giving up 3 runs. Also, Tad, for Seattle, Cole Young has been hot. He's been hitting 500 over the last week. Also, Tad, let's see who's crushing the baseballs this month. We have Aaron Judge. No shocker there at 10. Ben Rice, also the Yankees, the Bronx Bombers are really back. He also has 10. Jordan Alvarez has 9. Let's go who's mashing the ball right now. We have a 3-way tie up top. We got Jordan Alvarez of Houston with 12 home runs, Aaron Judge, and Munetaka Murakami of the Chicago White Sox. He is tied for first place with 12 home runs as well. Of course, we got Kyle Schwarber with 11, Ellie De La Cruz with 10, Ben Rice with 10, and Tad, Mike Trout having a resurgent year despite the Angels being terrible with 10 home runs.
He's walking more and he's striking out less. And if he puts the barrel on the ball, he's got a chance to really do some damage. And it's good to see him healthy. And let's just hope he stays that way because he has had a very good first month.
And a lot of guys driving runs that you really wouldn't really know household names at all. Sal Stewart from the Cincinnati Reds. How surprising are the Reds this year so far? He has 29 ribbies. Liam Hicks of the Miami Marlins with 28, along with Matt Olson of Atlanta. Jordan Alvarez, again, having a great year with Houston, despite the Astros not being that good with 27. I mean, Tad, some of these guys, CJ Abrams of the Washington Nationals, are really playing big.
Yeah, and that's why some of the teams that are surprisingly hanging in there are doing as well as they are because players are hot. So if you look at the National League East, you got the Braves at 22-10, the Marlins at 15-16, the Nationals 15-17, Phillies 12-19. That's a surprise. There's some guys that have been struggling there. And then the Mets, oh my God, you went out and spent all that money and lost a couple of important pieces, 10-21. And then you look at the Central, like you said, the Reds are hot, 20-11, and the Cubs right behind them at 19-12, and Cardinals 18-13, Brewers 16-14, and the Pirates at the bottom. But again, Paul Skeens said, I wouldn't even say his first outing was bad. Catch the ball, outfielders. And then the West, we of course are the Dodgers, 12-11, 5-5 in their last 10. Padres 19-11, only a half game back, 6-4 in their last 10, and D-backs playing good, 16-14, 4-6 in the last 10, and Rockies surprisingly only 14-18, 5-5 in the last 10. But the Giants, my goodness, somebody's might be having their job on the line over there pretty soon.
Tad, I got to get into the pitching so far this season. Shohei Ohtani this season, 30-inning pitch, only 2 earned runs, 34 strikeouts. In each of his last 5 pitching starts this year, he's gone at least 6 innings, allowed no more than 5 hits, allowed no more than 1 earned run, allowed no home runs. No other MLB pitcher has done that in each of his first 5 starts of a season in MLB history. And also, Tad, I got to shout out Jose Soriano. He has a .84 ERA, and just he got roughed up by the White Sox a couple days ago, but up until until last week, he had a .24 ERA. I mean, who saw this coming? Jose Soriano from the Angels.
Well, and he's 5-1 on a team that is in the cellar. So he's winning like half of their games right now.
Also got to bring up Cam Schlittler from the Yankees, only a 1.51 ERA. Parker Messick of Cleveland, 173. Clay Holmes, 175. And also going back to the Dodgers, got to bring up Justin Robleski, who's having an unbelievable year. He's 4-0 with a 1.5 ERA, 15 Ks, only a .97 whip. And Tad, rumor on the street is he is a fan of the Sandlot and might be around the corner. That's for right. Us.
He'll be on next week's show, and he's a really good kid. And man, he's got 2 World Series rings already in a very young career to have 2 World Series rings. People go long careers and never even sniff one. So he's got to be feeling pretty good about the start to his career.
Cannot wait for him to be on next week. And Tad, there was so much more to get to, but we have such little time. I know we got the Pinders coming up. I got to get out of here. That was who's hot and who's not. Can't wait for the rest of the season.
Thanks to our resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright, for giving us a good rundown on which MLB players are hot and which players are not. We're on Fox Sports Radio 1590 KVTA. We are Fox Sports. Don't go away. When we return, we have former professional baseball player. He's an old teammate of mine. He's a left-handed pitcher out of Virginia. We played in both the Orioles and Cleveland Indians organization, now the Guardians. Shout out to Travis Bazzana. Ozzy just got called up to the big leagues. We got Chris Pinder. And then after Chris, we also have his 2 sons, Chad and Chase. They both played pro ball. One of them got all the way to the big leagues. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, trusted to protect young athletes, one arm at a time. For more information, go to the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website and click on our title partner, the Kinetic Arm, and start protecting your kid today.
Hey there, this is Josh Holliday, head baseball coach at Oklahoma State. I'm the proud big brother of Matt Holliday, former major leaguer, and the proud uncle of current minor leaguer Jackson Holliday. And I'm listening to The Sandlot.
Hey, I've been around baseball a long time, so I don't say this lightly. This is one of the biggest innovations to ever hit the game. We all know how real arm problems are, and until now, nothing was built to actually support how the arm works when you throw. Kinetic Arm is the world's first dynamic arm stabilizer. It supports both shoulder and elbow at the same time while you're actually throwing. Backed by doctors, validated by science, and already worn by over 100,000 athletes. Go to kineticarm.com right now. That's kineticarm.com.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
Let's be honest, most players are never really taught how to slide. So what happens? Hesitation, poor form, injuries that could have been avoided? You spend all season building confidence and one bad slide can take it away in a second. That's why there's Slide MVP. Slide MVP is the portable sliding mat built for players and coaches. It comes with 4 simple steps and a progression system designed to have players sliding confidently after just one session. Start building confidence. Go to slidemvp.com. Slide MVP. Slide with confidence.
One bad pitch. Suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, ice packs, physical therapy, and watching from the sidelines while their dreams sit on hold. I've seen it too many times, the tears, the frustration, the long road back. But it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the world's first dynamic arm stabilizer. It supports both the shoulder and the elbow while you throw, responding exactly when the arm is under the most stress. Backed by science and already trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your kid's arm before the injury happens. Go to kineticarm.com right now.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Mundy, former Major League player, former All-Star, and now broadcaster with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're tuned in exactly where you need to be. It's Sandlot, and it's baseball.
Talking baseball, the man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque.
Especially Shohei, Mookie, and the Judge.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on kvta.com. The Sandlot is presented by the trusted protector of young athletes, the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have a former pro player with two sons that also played professionally. One got all the way to the big leagues. That son is now a AAA manager with the White Sox in Charlotte. Right now we have Chris Pinder. We're with former professional baseball player Chris Pinder. He's also got a couple boys that played professional baseball. One got to the big leagues and now a AAA manager for the Charlotte Knights, the AAA affiliate of the White Sox. Chris Pinder, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Hey, I appreciate it, Tad, man. Wow, 20, 30 years goes by real quick.
Yeah, they really do, especially when we get our kids, because we get tied up in their stuff, and the next thing you know, they're 30 years old, and all this time has gone by. But I want to turn back the clock, because I grew up at the same time. We're on the same age. So we grew up in a time when Sandlot baseball was a real thing. And I just told you off air that I had 9 Sandlots in my neighborhood, and each one of them involved different equipment, different ground rules, different game. No parents knew anything about it. Self-regulated, self-officiated, and created by children. What was it like for you during this time?
Well, my family was a military family, so I didn't stay in one area too long. So I got a little flavor of everybody across the continental United States. And I think it all kind of originated in Hawaii, where my dad was stationed. I was playing on a Little League team, but they wouldn't let me play because you had to be 6 and I was 5. So I ended up being the bat boy and the BP pitcher. How about that? Here's a 5-year-old winging port side, and I remember the coach saying, man, I could hear him say, man, he can throw it. And that's the first time I didn't know. I was just trying to throw to a catcher. So that's where it all started, there. And my father, I can't leave my dad out, God rest his soul. He would squat next to a tree, and I would whiz him down to him, glancing off the bark, and Dad's bailing out, and it was crazy, man. So finally it honed me in. That's why I could hit any catcher in America after that. But then I went to Illinois, and my mom had got me into swimming, so I kind of got away from the game a little bit. But I do remember one time in Little League, I get up on the mound, and there's a large kid getting into the box, and he hits home plate with the bat 4 times. Not once, 4. I can still see it. Overhead, chopping wood with the bat on the home plate like, I'm done. Now, I'm probably 9 at the time, so I'm starting to get a little bit of, I can know where I'm good. Thank God he didn't take my head off, but I did. I think he rolled me over to shortstop. But, man, I'll never forget that. See, I'm 60. I still remember that guy. I hope he's still alive.
It's amazing what we do remember about our careers.
Then it takes me to Alabama. Yeah, then it takes me to Alabama. Dad get stationed down there, and that's when I ran into still not really playing the Sandlot thing, but football was big in Alabama in the 70s. You had Bear Bryant, you got Alabama running, you got Auburn. So I turned into this football with a little bit of swimming still, and baseball was still there. But Dad brought home a guy from the office who had played minor league baseball with the Pirates. And he takes me out into the backyard and shows me a ball that starts to wrinkle. And I fell in love with the mound right there. God. That was probably 1977.
Wow.
And I'll never forget him. I can still see him. I'm getting chills on my arms right now. Showing me how to hold the ball and showing me how to, put my hand almost like a karate chop, not like a fastball behind it, but looking like a fastball, the motion. I was learning that in the 70s. It was like, oh, man. Still not knowing what, but I remember the first pitch I ever threw with it, and the kid looked like he had seen like a 3-headed monster. And that's when I said, okay, this is real. This is fun.
And what age did you feel like you might have an advantage over the other kids?
I would say once I started seeing the wrinkle like that, and I was able to throw it successfully, and this guy that worked for Dad, he was also in the military. He would come over, like once a week, and then start coming to my games, and so he was a good mentor on how to pitch. But that would have been 6th and 7th grade. So you're 12, 13. And now the wrinkle's starting. I got arsenal now. Just not throwing this 62-mile-an-hour fastball. Thank God I had arm side run.
Well, and that was a real natural thing for
So then
you.
I moved. Yeah. The lefties. It just, and I still don't know why that is, but I heard Clemens talk one time about that last finger for that sinker having that longer middle finger can really make it sink, and I think I was able to do that real nicely, effortless, right? You literally would think throw down the middle and I'll be fine.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, that's not every time. That's why I'm still working. I do have to bring back one memory. If I back up to Illinois, so that's 2 steps back, 1972 to 76.
What city in Illinois? Because I grew up in Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm in Belleville, Illinois, pretty much southern Illinois.
Southern Illinois, almost St. Louis.
From St. Louis.
Yep.
Right across the street. And there was a kid that in the summer, we literally started a league of true wiffle ball, like the yellow bat with the white ball with the slots in it, where you could see it, you could make it move, you could make it turn. And he had a true fence that went straight. There was a big weeping willow behind us, it gave us a little shade. And we go one-on-one every day for the summer. So you had like July and August, right? And Mom would have to either call me or we'd do morning games. Every day we would do it. And, man, I remember going home crying after losing.
Yeah.
I'd be so upset, man, irritated, but I knew I had another game tomorrow.
That's a
that's
a beautiful thing about baseball.
Oh, yeah. Short memory, you got tomorrow, baby. But anyways, I had a lot of great memories growing up as a kid, and I still remember today.
So since you ended up in Virginia as you were getting a little older, was it the Orioles? Was that the team that you guys followed? And what players, if so?
No, so, moving around a lot, when I got to Illinois, we obviously had the Cardinals, right? So early 70s, I got to see Bob Gibson in his later years. My dad would take me to Busch Stadium. And they had, I believe, Bake McBride.
Oh, yeah.
Sizemore, Simmons.
Keith Hernandez.
I think Ozzie may have actually been there.
Ozzie,
yeah,
Keith Hernandez.
Hernandez came a little later, I think. Yep. Those are the ones I can remember right off the top of my head. But, I mean, I'm probably a Blues fan in hockey. I'm a Cardinals fan. And, of course, the Atlanta Hawks. I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan. But they used to be in St. Louis way back. Maybe a little trivia there for you, Tad.
Oh, yeah, of course. And now that you've gone through all these phases, you're in high school, you're getting really good now. You got opportunities. Virginia Commonwealth. Why did you pick that over other possible opportunities?
Oh, man, great one. So this is a story that I have to fill you back in on. So I'm a sophomore in high school, and my mom, we're from Florida. My whole family's from Key West, Florida. Came from the Bahamas in the 1880s, so we're a big Florida group. So I find out there's this high school baseball camp at the Boston Red Sox Winter Haven complex called the Doyle Camp.
Yeah, Doyle School of Baseball.
And everybody remembers that. And so I start going to it. It was during Christmas time, right after Christmas to the New Year. And so I go there. And, learn a lot, learn a ton. You get to stay there. You play on great fields, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Something that was taking me to the next level. Like, wow, this is real. This is really cool. And I go again my junior year, and I start getting the letters like all of us do. And I'm like, oh, man. And I've got, letters all over. I mean, I got Miami and Virginia Tech and Alabama. Alabama had gone to... I think they won the College World Series in '83. If I'm not, they had Magadan and all those guys.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to go to Alabama. They were writing. This is back when you were writing letters, and I mean it would come weekly. So I'm like, man, I'm going back kind of where I was. Remember, we were stationed in Alabama, so I really liked it. But at the same time, I was talking to Florida State. Randy Gailey there, Mike Martin was there, and a Mike McLeod. And it starts coming down to where am I going? And I ended up coming down that Florida State said, hey, we don't have enough money, but we'd love to have you. My senior year was great. I was 10-0 with about a 1-1, something like that. And I was always a Florida State kid. So Alabama had fallen off once they stopped writing once they went to College World Series. So I elected, hey, I'm going to Florida State. So I elected to go to Florida State as a preferred walk-on. So I pitched real well in the fall. That was back when we played 40 games in the fall. crazy. I go around 84 spring, and I only get 10 innings, but I didn't give up a run. I can always say I still had a 0.0, the lowest ERA in Florida State history.
Can't be beaten either.
Right. And so I stayed there that summer to play. They had a summer league there for guys, kids coming in, and then guys who were doing summer school. And Mike Martin calls me in and says, "Hey, Chris, we'd like you to go to Chipola Junior College for your sophomore year and come back your junior year and be a starter." And I didn't know what that meant. Junior college to me felt like I was going to go down, I'm being sent downhill, The funny thing about that, or not, Chipola won the World Series the next year, I think, in 85.
Yeah, they did. Grand Junction.
And so, or you can stay, I can't guarantee a lot of innings, or you can go, I'll give you a release and you can go wherever you want to go. This is one of the biggest painful things in my life still today. I ended up going to Virginia Commonwealth. I called Tech. Coach Hartman didn't have any money left. I needed to help my parents, military money. So I ended up, VCU had money. I said, okay, I'm coming. So in hindsight, I wish I had stayed at Florida State because I knew I obviously could pitch.
They went to some World Series right after that. Richie Lewis.
86.
Barry Blackwell.
Yep. And I'm still on a thread of 22 guys, Florida State baseball guys. So I'm still on a thread. I still consider myself a Florida State guy. I mean, I'm on with Barry Blackwell.
Richie Lewis.
Luis Alicea's on there.
Yep.
Mike Loyne, Gold Glove guy.
Yep.
There's 20 of us that were still Frank Fazzini. I mean, that guy could hit oh my God, that guy could hit. Anyways, so I go to VCU and had 3 years there and got drafted. And but my heart's a Florida State and Seminole. So
thanks again to former pro player Chris Pinder for being a guest on The Sandlot. We'll hear the second part of Chris's interview next week. Don't go away. Next, we have Chris's son, Chad, the AAA manager for the White Sox in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm your host, Tad Powers. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm.
Hey, it's former Major League Baseball player Matt Holliday, and I'm actually known as Jackson Holliday's dad these days. My son was the number 1 overall pick, and I got another one on the way. And we still listen to Sandlot Radio. Proud to be part of the Sandlot Radio family.
Hey, I've been around baseball a long time, so I don't say this lightly. This is one of the biggest innovations to ever hit the game. We all know how real arm problems are, and until now, nothing was built to actually support how the arm works when you throw. Kinetic Arm is the world's first dynamic arm stabilizer. It supports both shoulder and elbow at the same time while you're actually throwing. Backed by doctors, validated by science, and already worn by over 100,000 athletes. Go to kineticarm.com right now. That's kineticarm.com.
Let's be honest, most players are never really taught how to slide. So what happens? Hesitation, poor form, injuries that could have been avoided? You spend all season building confidence and one bad slide can take it away in a second. That's why there's Slide MVP. Slide MVP is the portable sliding mat built for players and coaches. It comes with 4 simple steps and a progression system designed to have players sliding confidently after just one session. Start building confidence. Go to slidemvp.com. Slide MVP. Slide with confidence.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
One bad pitch. Suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, ice packs, physical therapy, and watching from the sidelines while their dreams sit on hold. I've seen it too many times, the tears, the frustration, the long road back. But it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the world's first dynamic arm stabilizer. It supports both the shoulder and the elbow while you throw, responding exactly when the arm is under the most stress. Backed by science and already trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your kid's arm before the injury happens. Go to kineticarm.com right now.
Hey everybody, this is Trevor Hoffman, a Hall of Famer and a San Diego Padre, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. Right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on kvta.com. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have the son of Chris Pinder, former Major League player with the Oakland Athletics, now already a AAA manager with the White Sox. We got Chad Pinder. Chad, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Chad, I appreciate you, man. I'm excited to be on.
I have history with your father. We were in the minor leagues together with the Baltimore Orioles, and then we spent time in the Cleveland Indians organization as well. And he was a left-handed pitcher out of Virginia Commonwealth. He was a battler, and he's one of those guys that when he got on the mound, he did not back down. He had a lot of confidence, and I really enjoyed playing alongside of your old man.
It's awesome. Yeah, that is something that I feel like he instilled in us, and like as players and as human beings more so. So that doesn't surprise me.
When he was we were in spring training together, and we're all, you're throwing a lot, and you have aches and pains, and there was this alfalfa product that he had turned me on to, and a lot of it's psychological. So we were taking these alfalfa pills, and it was supposed to just kind of keep your joints cleared up. And so for several years, he got me onto that, and I was on alfalfa just because it's a mindset. You believe something, especially in baseball, we believe something, we stick with it. Right? Whether it's beneficial or not, I wasn't certain, but it's like anything that could give us an advantage. So
no doubt.
I give him credit for being one of the first guys to turn me on to a supplement that was supposed to give us a little better opportunity to have success. When you were a kid, you got brothers that can play this game too, and a sister that's a really good softball player. So I'm wondering what the backyard comp was like and some of the games you might have played with the brothers, and I know your sister was in on this too, because that's where some of the competitive nature comes from, is from our siblings.
Yes. So our backyard, our front yard, our living room, our playroom, it was just a constant competition. We played backyard baseball in our sunroom. I remember we would use like the souvenir bat. We'd have a squishy ball, and we had this I want to say cloth lining that like covered the top. Those like blinds. And that was the home run line. If you hit that in the air, that was a home run. And it would be knockdown, drag out. We would ping pong, basketball. It was constant.
That competitive nature that we have with our siblings is probably as strong as anything that we have in our life. And it really does translate into wanting to be able to compete against other people as well. So if it starts at home and carries over into your game, you do have an advantage.
Yeah, you just don't like to lose at anything, especially with your siblings. So you see it a lot, and you'll talk with him later. But Chase, Chase being the youngest brother, man, for him, it was like I have to compete. I have to win. If he didn't, let's talk about salty, which probably contributed to his competitiveness for sure.
That part of the country, it's not conducive with playing baseball year-round. So you guys being the athletes that you are, I have a feeling that you didn't just play baseball.
Yeah, we played everything. Soccer, basketball, football, tried to golf. I mean, we had an awesome childhood. We really did.
And the number of times that when you have siblings, it doesn't just have to be organized sport where you're getting development. I think about the number of hours I spent just playing in the yard with my brother and a neighbor, and some of the games that we invented, that when I became a scout, I realized that 5 skills, running, throwing, fielding, hitting, power hitting, were being developed by each one of these different games that we invented.
That's so true. And I think that holds true for baseball in general, which is why I love multi-sport athletes, guys that go out and play soccer. There's some of the best athletes in the world are soccer players. Some of the best athletes in the world are basketball players. Some of the best athletes in the world are football players. And if you get a little bit of that growing up and you can translate to the baseball field, that's when you get those true 5-tool athletes on the baseball field.
And yeah, I played basketball, and I think about some of the training we did for basketball, and it was stuff that later on, when I learned about the science of baseball and hip rotational speed being in direct correlation to arm speed, the only time I really trained hips was in basketball. We didn't do any baseball stuff that was geared towards hip rotational speed being increased. And I just wish that I would have known some of the stuff that I know now about what would have been beneficial for us. And back in the day, your father and I did, we ran foul poles, we did pickups, we did a few sprints, we we did some lunges, and we threw bullpens and long toss. And that was the extent of our training.
It is fascinating where the game has gone with those sports performance, the sports-specific training. Yeah, it's just totally different now. And you talk about guys from different eras and what they had and what was available to them. And, you know, like for me, the one of the questions that got dropped on me the other day was like, would Pete Rose have 4,000 hits in today's game? And I'm like, who's to say that he wouldn't, right? Like with everything that's available to him, the skill-specific training, like I'm in the boat of yes. So, like the athletes of the previous eras, like they didn't have all the things that players have now. So those guys would be equally as good with those resources.
Absolutely. And I think about some of the science and how it applies today. And I just wished I knew a little piece of it because it was so old school back then that there was absolutely no science involved. As a matter of fact, back in the day, minor leagues, 142 games, you get like 5 days off the whole year. The pitching coach would have us meet in a parking lot and go for a run on that day off. We never had a recovery day. And there's science behind an athlete needing a recovery. We never had it. And I look back at that and that was foolish.
Yeah, it's much different now. Obviously, the minor leagues, you have every Monday off. Hotels are much better. All that stuff, the resources in recovery. I mean, it shows.
Coming out of high school, how did you decide Virginia Polytechnical? Because Virginia's a great place to continue to play baseball. And your little bro went to Clemson, which was one of our rivals. And we played them at home and away every year. So I know what Clemson baseball is like. How did you make your decision coming out of high school?
There was a few things. Like I had some buddies that I grew up playing with that were a little older than me that ended up going there. And I don't know, when I went to the campus, I fell in love. I loved going to places and like I loved making places better. Like a lot of the other places were established. I liked the grindiness of what the program was at the time, like gritty, hard-nosed, and we were able to turn it around, and we hosted a regional my junior year, and I just loved it. I loved it from the first time I stepped on campus.
And were you pretty young when you decided you wanted to do the pro ball thing, and was it a focus all the way through, or were you just getting better and it just fell into your lap?
So I think that's a tough question because like I remember I never remember being like, oh, I want to be a major leaguer. I want to be a major leaguer. The one memory I have when I first was like, okay, I want to do that for a living. I was in high school. I was with my dad at Mr. C's Pizza in Coastal, Virginia. I can't remember if it was just him and I, and we were watching an Orioles game. And that was the first time I remember saying out loud to my dad, I was like, I want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do.
That is so cool.
And then it was just like, yeah.
It makes it a lot easier when you have a dad that's been on the journey. It was a bit more of a grind when your father and I were playing in the minor leagues. The bus rides weren't cool. Those hotels weren't cool. The money for meals wasn't enough. There was a lot of things that created more of a struggle. And he was a battler, just like you, because you battled all the way through the minor leagues, got to the big leagues. And one of the questions I always like to know, big league debut, what was like that for you and your family? And when you got the call, who's the first person you called to let know?
My dad. Yeah, 100%. When you talk about that, like that grind, like I can remember the first hotel I stayed in. There's like cigarette burns on the blanket. Like it wasn't nice. And like we were taking 8-hour bus trips and we were taking 12-hour bus trips. And I remember calling my dad, and this like just to your point, like I'm very fortunate to have a dad that went through it, a dad that played. I'll never, ever forget this. It was probably like 3 weeks into my first summer after just getting drafted. We are in Connecticut playing the Tigers affiliate, short season, which is no longer a thing. And I called him. I stepped out of the clubhouse and I was like, Dad, I do not know if this is for me. Like, I am having a hard time adjusting. Like, this is not what I thought it'd be. And I remember him just saying, he's like, hey, that's normal. Like, the more you do it, the more it will, like, it'll come to you. Like,
yeah, and again, having somebody help guide you, not everybody has that, so it definitely is an advantage. And the guys that I've had on my show that have fathers that played professional baseball or even got to the big leagues, the road for them seems a little easier because they are more familiar with what's going to be like than a lot of the other people, because like you said, it was a shock. Playing D1 college baseball was more glamorous than that first year in the minor leagues, and you think it's going to be the opposite. I'm a pro now. This is going to be the thing. but D1 college baseball was way more glamorous.
No doubt. No doubt.
He's the AAA hitting coach for the Chicago White Sox. He's a former major league player. He's Chad Pinder. He's son to Chris Pinder. He's got a brother named Chase who also played for a really long time in pro ball. Chad, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Sandlot. This has been a long time coming because I played with your dad way back in 1987-88.
It is a long time coming.
Well, again, Chad, thank you so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Thanks again to a guy who I got to say is really young to be a AAA manager. He's the son of Chris Pinder. Thanks, Chad Pinder. We'll be back with more from another Pinder professional baseball player, also the son of Chris, brother of Chad. We have Chase Pinder. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, the Ventura Sports Talk Station. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, the partners page. Click on to connect with the Kinetic Arm.
My name is Ethan Holiday. Play shortstop for the Stillwater High School baseball team. I am a couple months away from being hopefully selected in the Major League Baseball draft. I am now part of the Sandlot.
Hey, I've been around baseball a long time, so I don't say this lightly. This is one of the biggest innovations to ever hit the game. We all know how real arm problems are, and until now, nothing was built to actually support how the arm works when you throw. Kinetic Arm is the world's first dynamic arm stabilizer. It supports both shoulder and elbow at the same time while you're actually throwing. Backed by doctors, validated by science, and already worn by over 100,000 athletes. Go to kineticarm.com right now. That's kineticarm.com. Looking to stand out? At Max Graphics LA, we bring your ideas to life. From customer screen printing and high-quality embroidery to eye-catching signs and banners, we do it all. Outfit your team, promote your business, or create one-of-a-kind personal gear. Whether it's company uniforms, sports league fan swag, or custom designs for any occasion, we've got you covered. Fast, reliable, and made just the way you want it. Call 310-350-3394 or visit maxgraphicsla.com today. Max Graphics LA, where your brand gets noticed. We've all seen it. Knees torn up, elbows scraped raw, and even shin burgers. That's not toughness, that's preventable. Pro Slide Sports makes padded compression sleeves for legs and arms, designed specifically for baseball and softball players hitting the dirt. More protection, more confidence, less damage. Your kids play hard. Make sure they're protected. ProSlideSports.com. Play hard, stay protected. One bad pitch. Suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, ice packs, physical therapy, and watching from the sidelines while their dreams sit on hold. I've seen it too many times, the tears, the frustration, the long road back. But it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the world's first dynamic arm stabilizer. It supports both the shoulder and the elbow while you throw, responding exactly when the arm is under the most stress. Backed by science and already trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your kid's arm before the injury happens. Go to kineticarm.com right now.
I was pretty much decided for me to play baseball when I was born.
The Sandlot's where it all starts, doesn't it?
I wasn't bigger than everybody. I just threw harder.
It doesn't take any talent to hustle.
If you don't pull for the Dodgers, there's a good chance you may not get into heaven.
Something happening here.
Welcome back to the Sandlot, right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by the most trusted protector of arms in the industry, the Kinetic Arm. Right now, we have the third member of a great American baseball family out of Virginia, the Pinders. We've had Chris, we've had Chad, and now we have young Chase Pinder. Chase played at Clemson in the ACC, then he went on into the minor leagues with the Giants all the way to AAA. Chase Pinder. The second part of the great American baseball family, the Pinders, we've had Chad, and now we've got Chase. Chase, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot Radio Show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
We talked to your brother about the times when you guys were growing up in Virginia, in the backyard and the front yard, and they had games in the backyard and the front yard, and it wasn't just baseball, it was every competitive thing that you could do, and you were the youngest. So that means maybe getting a little picked on, maybe got to turn it up a notch to be able to hang with the rest of them. But it makes you want to compete. It creates a different level of competitive nature. We're probably more competitive with our siblings than anyone that we ever are in our whole life. And so it makes going out and competing with others that much easier. So back in the day, front yard, backyard in Virginia, let's talk about some Sandlot stuff that happened. Wiffle ball, maybe hot box. I don't know. I had all kinds of games I played that developed skills.
Yeah, I mean, we used to play the classic wiffle ball in the back, but we also used to play indoors. We had a sunroom called sunroom baseball. And it was kind of like, squishy ball we hopefully wouldn't break anything. And everything was, when you're the youngest, you feel like everything's stacked against you. They're making up rules halfway through the game that weren't ever there. So that's where I got my competitiveness from. I felt like my back was against the wall with my two older brothers, and I just always hated losing. And it seemed to happen a lot with the older guys. But I will say, going through that, it helped me because I play up in everything I used to play. Baseball, I used to play up for 2 years, and that almost prepped me for it. So I think it kind of gave me a head start and kind of prepped me for what was going to come.
Yeah, when you play with older kids and they're your brothers, they don't cut you any slack. And then when you go play with kids your own age, it seems a little easier because now they're the same size as you. You've already competed against guys bigger and stronger. So it's almost like makes it easier.
100%.
And having kids in the family that are also super athletic that can actually play, that's another thing. Because then you're watching their movements, trying to simulate what they're doing because you want to be better than them.
100%. I think having both of them, they were very high-level athletes. So I always kind of was on their coattail, trying to be as good as them. And then once I got back to playing my age, it just seemed a bit easy, lower. Whether it was in the backyard or not, it still is comparable.
And, that carries on because you got brothers that have gone on ahead of you and they've gone on the path that you want to go on. And it makes it that much easier when somebody that's close to you has done it. And having your dad had gone through it because he's Virginia Commonwealth. He's in the minor leagues and he grinded it. This is back in the day when the minor leagues was not an easy journey. The buses weren't nice. The hotels weren't nice. The meal money wasn't enough. There was no housing assistance in addition to your salary. So they made it pretty hard. And I think it was a way of sorting out who's tough enough because when you play at Clemson, there's a certain level of glamour and you're kind of the big band on campus, and then you go in the minor leagues and you're in rookie ball and you're on a bus and you're going to some weird towns and you're staying in weird hotels and there's weird people staying in those hotels, and it makes you wonder because D1 college baseball at Clemson is way more glamorous and you get more exposure there than you ever will playing in the minor leagues.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I went from Clemson to Johnson City, Tennessee, I just remember vividly remembering the pregame meals. And it was like at Clemson, they were prepared and like Jersey Mike's, whatever. I remember we got people eating like PB&J and like it's like PB&J's and like milk. And I'm like, God, I was like almost like shocked. And then, but you learn to love it because it is like you play with a whole different type of people, from all over the place. And they're just happy to be. And you kind of just like reset to that point where you like started playing baseball. And it's like, damn, so happy to be here. And it kind of brings you back to your childhood.
Yeah, and you think about some of the guys you play with when you get in the minor leagues from Dominican, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Mexico. Those are somewhat third world countries. So that peanut butter in the clubhouse they were happy about that. And if you were a kid that played at Clemson and you had a spread after every game, it's kind of a shocker for you. And I always warn kids that play D1 that are going to go into pro ball, dude, the glamour's not coming again like it did there until you get to the big leagues.
Yeah, 100%. I think it kind of is like once you go from a high college caliber to rookie ball, it's time to just focus on baseball. and just you got to play, and you got to play every day and get used to it. And it's a transition. Takes people longer than others, but it's all fun.
I talked to your brother about the fact that when your dad and I were playing in the minor leagues, pitchers, there was no science. We ran foul poles, we did pickups, we shagged, we played long toss, we did some sit-ups and some lunges, and that was it. We threw a bullpen. Now there's so much science, and there's so many things that kids can do to improve their skills just by becoming more athletic, and this was information that we didn't have. And I think about how much better I could have been knowing what I know today, because it wasn't part of it back then. When I think about it now, it was kind of ridiculous how simplistic the training of pitchers was. It just there's nothing to it.
Yeah, for me it's like there's a fine line. Like obviously there's beauty in the simplicity of everything, because if it works, it works. But you do want the knowledge of what could get me to that next step. But if you start over, obsessing over it, it can get you in trouble.
Now, you got an older brother that was already on the path through the minor leagues, got to the big leagues, had a decent extended career in the big leagues, and now he's already a AAA manager. And I know that you were there, dude. You were climbing that road. You got all the way to AAA. Injuries is such a thing. And one injury can set you off the path. And the frustration level, and I know I played with so many guys that had big league capability that had an injury that didn't allow them, or maybe they had big league capability and they just couldn't hang with the grind of the minor leagues.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say derailed, but it made my career stagnant for a little bit of time. I had some soft tissue stuff, and then at the back end, a stress fracture in my lower back. But I always knew I could play in the big leagues. It just was kind of my body allowing me to get in that rhythm and putting at-bats together. And that's when you start getting the full exposure. And, it just didn't work out in that way. And that's just how it was supposed to be. But I'm happy with what I was able to accomplish.
There's no doubt. And as fathers, we want our kids to be better than we were. And we want them to have a longer career and to never get hurt. And when things happen, like both of my kids went through injuries, and I wanted to be the one taking the injury. Like, you're that serious about it that it's like, why can't I be hurt and him be healthy? And it's that serious for us. And getting to watch you guys play is a huge joy for us. And then when you go down, it's like, and both my kids, they played into their early 30s, and then it's like, it's over. I don't get to watch these kids play anymore, and I've just spent 20-something years doing it. So it's a bit of void in our lives when you guys quit, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a transition. It's probably been about a year and a half, 2 years since I played, and definitely miss it. But I'm happy to be home with my girls. I have two daughters, and I'm just happy to be with them, spend time, and continuing this great life.
Yeah, and the baseball life is a very good life, and the things that you got to experience, the places that you got to see because of being a professional baseball player, there's no way anyone can ever take it away from you. And those experiences you would never have had without being that guy. And I think about some of the minor league towns and cities and leagues that I played in. I was never going to any of those places. I'm probably never going to go back. But because of baseball, I got to see it. I got to experience it. And I was one of those guys that no matter what, if it was the biggest ball of yarn, I'm going to see that thing. The biggest rocking chair. There was something in every one of these communities that was worth getting out of that hotel room and going checking it out. And I remember guys that didn't do that. And when you get done playing the game, you're like, I missed out on some opportunities because I'm never going back to Clinton, Iowa.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I get that question a lot, like, what's your favorite place? Where's your favorite place to play? And it's actually somewhere I'd never probably visit. And Des Moines, Iowa. And I don't know why. I just loved playing the Cubs. The AAA Cubs are there. And every time I went, I don't know, it was just the best time. I always had the great vibe from it, and people can't believe it.
Yeah, because like you said, you're probably not going back to Des Moines, but it was one of those places you'll never forget. Durham, North Carolina was like that for me. And I think of even playing in Reno, Nevada. There was just some spots that Salt Lake City. It was like,
Salt Lake City,
man, the setting there. Yeah. And we got to do that because the game allowed us. Because people don't go to those places, man.
Yeah. I actually played last year with the Giants. I played in Salt Lake, and I'd always played on the East Coast, but like seeing those mountains there, it just like for some reason that's a place that I like to mention.
That's one thing I appreciate about being a player for as long as I was, is getting to see the places that nobody gets to see and taking as much out of each one of those places as I could.
Yeah, 100%.
He's a former professional player. He played at Clemson. One of my rivals over there at Winthrop University. We were in the Big South. Yep. You guys ACC. So when we played you guys, it was a big deal for us. And going to Clemson, I got to tell you, it's one of the best college baseball experiences I ever had, because that is a different environment. And you got to do it. And I'm glad that was your decision to go play there. Because I got to say that playing at Clemson, there's nobody that's going to get the same experience that you got playing there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, Virginia Tech was in the running for it as well, to follow after Chad, but I kind of wanted to do my own thing and not get playing time, get any more chances than the other person because someone I knew went there.
Yeah.
And so when I went there, I knew I was on my own. I knew I had to earn it, and I ended up earning it freshman year and kind of ran with it. So it ended up working out, and I enjoyed every second.
He's a former professional baseball player. Now he's just a dad, Chase. Pinder, I just want to thank you for being a guest on The Sandlot. You're one of the great American baseball families, the Pinders.
Alrighty, thank you.
Man, it's good to be back. Thanks for listening to the first Sandlot Radio Network program of the 2026 baseball season. We look forward to bringing you unique childhood stories from the biggest names in baseball, including everyone from current and former major leaguers, also future ones. We got coaches, scouts, front office personnel, and even media, as they all reflect on their road to the big leagues. You can catch replays of this year's and past season's episodes of the Sandlot Radio Show on the Sandlot Radio Show SoundCloud page. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Sandlot Radio Show for video content with the players. Also, Sandlot Radio Network Facebook page. We have links to our YouTube, Spotify, and SiriusXM MLB network. Please explore the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website to witness our reels and images from our long history of covering everything from the Sandlot to the big leagues. If you're interested in advertising your business on the Sandlot Radio Show, give us a call at 303-350-0655 or send us a message through the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website. Click on our partners to check them out and all the cool products that they offer. I'd like to thank all of our guests. On today's show, we had 3 members of another great American baseball family. In the past, we've had the Holiday family. This Pinder family is another great American baseball family. We had Chris. He's an old teammate of mine. We had his 2 sons, Chad and Chase. I want to thank those guys so much for being a guest on The Sandlot. Be sure to tune in next Saturday at 8 a.m. and every Saturday until the end of the season on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on kvta.com. We'll have more great guests all season long. Everyone from current, former, and major league players, along with managers, coaches, scouts, front office personnel, and even media, as they share their incredible story on their journey to the big leagues that started on their Sandlot. And of course, replays of The Sandlot can be heard on the biggest platforms, including SiriusXM MLB Network podcast platform, along with Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Pandora, YouTube, and Simplecast. The Sandlot has been presented by the most trusted leader in athletic arm protection, the Kinetic Arm. For more information, go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com. Click on the Kinetic Arm on our partner page. The Sandlot is also sponsored by Slide MVP, Champ Trove, Max Graphics LA, and Pro Slide.
Is this heaven?
It's Iowa. Is there a heaven?
It's the place dreams come true.
Hey, Dad? You want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Hey, I've been around baseball a long time, so I don't say this lightly. This is one of the biggest innovations to ever hit the game. We all know how real arm problems are, and until now, nothing was built to actually support how the arm works when you throw. Kinetic Arm is the world's first dynamic arm stabilizer. It supports both shoulder and elbow at the same time while you're actually throwing. Backed by doctors, validated by science, and already worn by over 100,000 athletes. Go to kineticarm.com right now. That's kineticarm.com. We've all seen it. Knees torn up, elbows scraped raw, and even shin burgers. That's not toughness, that's preventable. Pro Slide Sports makes padded compression sleeves for legs and arms. Designed specifically for baseball and softball players hitting the dirt. More protection, more confidence, less damage. Your kids play hard. Make sure they're protected. ProSlideSports.com. Play hard, stay protected. One bad pitch. Suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, ice packs, physical therapy, and watching from the sidelines while their dreams sit on hold. I've seen it too many times, the tears, the frustration, the long road back. But it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the world's first dynamic arm stabilizer. It supports both the shoulder and the elbow while you throw, responding exactly when the arm is under the most stress. Backed by science and already trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your kid's arm before the injury happens. Go to kineticarm.com right now.